That's the sound of the coffee pouring. Welcome to the Doctor's Brew. I'm your host, Dr. Abdulaziz Al Khayyat.
I'm your co-host, Dr. Bassam Al-Mullah.
And this is a different podcast setup. It kind of feels weird.
It does, right? Look at
Yeah.
this.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit uncomfortable, Bassam.
Me too, but change is good sometimes. We need to try
Possibly.
and experiment with different things.
You want to tell us what we change up today?
So, as you guys can see, we have a new backdrop with this logo that lights up. Very nice.
Very nice.
And a chessboard.
Yeah.
Why do you have a chessboard here?
Well, it's because I've been telling Bassam that I want him to teach me. I know how to play chess, the basics, but I mean some of the strategies. So when we're done this episode, we're going to definitely be getting some
You'll be
tutoring.
more experienced than you were before the episode. That's for sure.
And now you might be wondering what inspired this change. I don't know if it's permanent or not, but what happened was the mic got broken.
Yeah, because someone without mentioning names, someone a little bit
Without
clumsy,
mentioning names.
someone clumsy,
Without mentioning names.
dropped the mic and broke it. So we had to.
We're not going to mention any names.
I didn't mention any names. I'm
We
just saying
didn't mention
someone
any
clumsy.
names.
There we go. We're good. I just
We're
said
good.
someone
We're
clumsy.
fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
It's a nice setup.
It is. I
It's
like
a good
it.
thing.
I like it.
New mics.
There we go. New mics.
Uh,
So what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're actually going to be talking about something that I've been asked about a lot. And I actually don't. So I've answered this question before. And it's not that I don't know how to answer, just it's not within our practice to answer. I'll explain in a moment. But today we're going to be talking about vitamins, supplements, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's real bro science stuff.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We know what this is.
Some more than others.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about supplements and what their role is in medicine and what our advice should be as doctors when patients ask us about supplements and whether they should take them and all about that.
Yeah.
So what's your take, Aziz? What do you think?
Before we get into it, I just want to also shout out Caribou.
Yes.
Gahwa of Caribou today.
They saved us a couple of times because we struggled to fix the mic issue.
That's true. That's true.
We are here now.
It's been several hours of hard work. But yeah, about supplements. So here's my thing, right? For anyone.
By the way, before we start, I played already.
Oh, you did?
I did. So you need to.
I'm gonna say and I'll make my move, right?
Okay.
So, with many of you are watching, you know, you're in med school, you know where your information is coming from in terms of what to prescribe. You want to give something for hypertension, you're thinking, what's the guidance on this? For us in the UK, it was all about the nice guidance. Always nice guidelines, nice guidelines. If it's not nice, it's not there, you know? So, I mean, that's how it is for like traditional prescribing and stuff. But then when I have patients come to me and ask me things like, oh, should I take this vitamin for example, okay, let's talk about lipid lowering, for example. They'll be like, oh, should I take omega-3 or should I take some other, you know, vitamin that's available in places like, you know, those vitamin shops like Holland and stuff. I sometimes struggle to respond because the guidance on vitamins and supplements is more limited because a lot of them are not as well tested, so to speak. There's less FDA approval on them, if at all any. Like, for example, the high majority of the vitamins and supplements you have, you'll notice on the back, just read the bottle. It'll say not FDA approved.
Yeah.
You know?
There isn't any sort of regulatory, governmental, or some sort of healthcare entity that regulates supplement companies from producing supplements. So if me and Aziz decide tomorrow we want to open up a supplement company, we can do that. We can name it, for example, Doctor's Brew, and we can just sell whatever. And you can call it supplement.
Is that true?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
crazy.
there's nothing that like stops you. There's no governmental entity that like checks what's going on with these supplements at all. You can do anything you want with them.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So that's where the not FDA approved comes into play, because the supplement market, it's a very, very big market, and it's a very successful business market as well. Lots of people make lots of money from that market, and that's because it's not regulated, so they can do whatever they want with the material they're selling, the supplements they're selling. They can put anything they want in there, and no one's checking. So it depends on what the company is that you're buying from and if they're honest or not about it.
Yep.
And most companies will not be honest because they will find ways to lower the pricing for whatever product they're making, whatever it is they're selling. They'll find ways to try to make it worth their while.
Right.
So they'll put in like less quality products, fake stuff in the supplement, anything just to make it look like it's a supplement, and then they just sell it for a ridiculous price, and then they'll make their money.
So then I guess the question then becomes us as doctors, right? Because I'm not gonna lie and say that there isn't some evidence for certain supplements, certain vitamins. There are, like, or even not even supplement. I don't know if niacin would count, but I'm studying for the USMLE step 1 right now. So vitamins are all on my mind. And I know that vitamin B6 is used for a lot of those inborn errors of metabolism.
Okay.
Yeah. For supplementation. I forgot. This is a bad test of my exam prep.
Fun stuff.
So I know there is evidence for certain supplementations. There is evidence for certain vitamins. Blah blah blah. But I can't go on as far to say, especially as a young doctor, I don't feel as confident for a patient to come up to me and say, hey, can I supplement this to feel better? And I'll just be like, yeah, go for it. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with that. How do you feel?
You get this question more often than you expect. Like lots of times you'll be sitting in the clinic or in the ward and anything, and then usually it's like when patients are being discharged, and then the patient themselves or their family, they're like, can I take this supplement for like constipation, for example, or can I take this for whatever vitamin supplement for this, for that? And you want to say yes, but at the same time, you don't know. You don't know whether you should be saying yes or no, or maybe actually depends specifically which supplement you're taking for what. So it's a tricky question, because when it comes to medication, it's easy. We know what the medication is, and there's a standard to making this medication. You won't find, like, let's say for example, basic like amlodipine, hypertension medication.
Yeah.
You won't find different types of amlodipine, or all amlodipine is the same. Like whatever company is making, there's a certain standard that needs to be met and tested, so that this is a medication that's safe to give to the population, and all amlodipine, wherever you get it, should be the same, with the same dose, with the same material being used to make it. So if I'm getting amlodipine, whether it's here in Kuwait or in America or in China, it should be the same. So that's not the case with supplements. You whatever supplement you're getting, if you're getting it from this company or that company, the material that's being used is different, the components and ingredients are different, the price is different. You have no idea what's going on. And even though they put the nutritional information at the back or the ingredients at the back, most of the time you don't know if these ingredients, they're lying about them or if they're faking it somehow. Because if you notice, and a lot of people that go to the gym will notice this, when you go to buy supplements from any gym store, lots of them have something called the proprietary blend. This blend is basically when they mention several ingredients all together into one blend.
Right. So
without saying how much of each ingredient.
Sauce.
Exactly. It's like a secret sauce.
KFC
it's
secret
like
blend of herbs and spices.
Cane's secret sauce. You don't know what's there. But it tastes great. So the proprietary blend is basically all of the ingredients that you would want. But they don't tell you how much of the ingredient is there. It's a blend. That's their way of saying that I'm gonna put I can put one drop of the ingredient. I can just mention that I put that ingredient.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But some companies, they'll be honest. They'll be like, oh, whatever this ingredient, for example, we have a certain dose. This specific ingredient, this certain dose. This ingredient, this certain dose. Other companies, you'll notice, just says proprietary blend. We have this all mixed together, but I won't tell you exactly how much of each is in there. So it could be 90% placebo, nothing, and then 10% of the actual ingredients.
Which I think what that translates to is that in the end, it's definitely going to be more risky to recommend supplements across the board than to recommend any medication, because you don't know what. But you know what I find interesting, if we with this whole discussion on supplements and vitamins and whatever, is the fact that it falls into this logical fallacy.
Oh, you moved, huh?
Yeah, by the way, I did move.
I didn't notice.
Come on, man. Don't do this to me.
I'm just playing.
All right, I'm going to say my point and then I'll keep playing. Just for those listening, I'm playing chess while also discussing.
Yeah, he struggles with
medicine.
multitasking, so we're training him slowly.
But yeah, so what I find interesting is how this all falls into this logical fallacy. I forgot what the name of the fallacy is, but the idea that if something's natural, it's better, which is not necessarily always the case. You know, we know that, for example, if you're taking like let's say warfarin, right, and then you just happen to have some grapefruit, that interacts with, you know, cytochrome P450 and whatever. So with supplements and vitamins, I've noticed that beyond whether it's safe or not safe, it does fall into this weird category of medicine where people are trying to find this like one solution to everything. They want to take this one pill that's just everything's gonna work. And we know the best way I forgot which doctor mentioned this, but everything in medicine has this balance, right? If you tip over one side, something else is going to come. And that's the whole thing with side effects, everything like that. So I think this idea of just like, oh, take the supplement and you're just not going to be depressed, or take the supplement and you're going to be thinking better. I don't know. I don't buy it.
I think
I'm dubious.
people like to, as you said, they want a fast solution, and they think that taking this supplement will solve their issue. When in reality, you're just masking the actual problem.
Yeah.
And this is in general. This happens in medicine in general, but like specifically with supplements, like if you have to find the root cause of the issue that
Yes.
whatever supplement you're missing or whatever component that you actually need, you're just masking the effect by taking supplement. We need to understand what the root cause is. So
Yeah.
it's like the simplest thing is vitamin D. If you're mostly indoors and you're not going outdoors, and you're just taking the supplement, most of us here in Kuwait are vitamin D deficient, although we're one of the hottest countries in the world.
Yeah.
Because the majority of us don't go outside and spend enough time in the sun. So we take a vitamin D supplement to compensate for that. But that's one of the more well-established supplements. Like, you
Yeah.
know that vitamin D is okay, then you can take it and it's safe and it's recommended.
But then which company? Like you just said, you don't know which one is giving you the right formula, right?
Yeah,
There we go.
and like most of us are, even doctors are like, we don't have the enough education to know exactly. We'll just see vitamin D. Okay, vitamin D.
And take it, yeah. So, I guess the moral with that is always be dubious when you're recommending supplements. No. L. Yeah. Always be dubious when recommending supplements. Sorry for those of you listening. In chess, I'm not doing well. I'm not doing very cash money.
It's okay. We just started.
We just started. But you know, actually, funny story I have about supplements and vitamins. I saw a case recently. What's it called? That there was actually not one case. It was several cases of people in like psychiatry taking certain supplements for mental health reasons.
Okay.
Right? And the interesting thing was that they actually carry a risk and the patient didn't know. And just like you said, because it's less regulated, you know, it's not like you can go and buy antidepressants over the counter, but you can buy these supplements. It was actually interacting with their condition and making them worse, and they didn't realize. Yeah, and I saw that, for me, it's that light bulb moment of, maybe medical advice shouldn't be taken from all podcasts. Bad timing, right?
Well, yeah.
Because it's bro science in the end. That's what I feel with a lot of these supplements.
I feel like because most of them are not, there's not enough studies for them, and we don't know exactly what's in the component, what's in the ingredients, and how the companies are making these ingredients and the quality. Like lots of them will pretend to say, oh, we're getting the ingredients from X, Y, and Z, and they're good ingredients and all this and that. But at the end of the day, it's a business. You want to make money.
Exactly.
So if you're putting in more money than you're making out of the product, what's the point?
So what's it called? Let's check the time here. Let's get to the bottom line with this. You have a colleague like yourself. We just graduated, and we're on the wards, and we want to figure out should we suggest a supplement to someone. What's the decision?
I think if you have to be aware of exactly what the supplement is. Some supplements are studied way more than others. Some stuff is still very experimental, and it has positives and negatives, and they're not well studied. So we can't. I say the bottom line is we shouldn't be recommending any supplements that we're completely not sure of. And there's no shame in telling the patient that we don't know.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good
Because lots of doctors might want to opt to say something just to please the patient and to show that they know something even though they don't. And that's something that's risky. So there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know whether this supplement is appropriate for you or not, but I can read about it, I can ask my senior colleagues, I can research, and I can let you know. And that's you being safe, and that's the most important part of being a junior doctor.
And
Because we won't have the expertise or the knowledge
Yeah.
that like a consultant will have.
Of course.
But we will at least have the enthusiasm to read and learn to better our knowledge.
This is actually the point that I was thinking about. That's the point of hierarchy sometimes is annoying, but this is where it's important because I think this is where you have to recognize your own limitations. Like you are a junior doctor, you're not a consultant who may actually have used these supplements in their clinical practice. They followed up with the patients taking these supplements and they're able to say, but you've been working for like a year. You can't say like, well, in my experience, magnesium, you know.
Exactly, because some supplements, even though they're not well studied or anything, but let's say a consultant has been using this specific supplement for the last 5, 10, 15 years, and they've been following up the patients, and they've been seeing that the patients have been improving with some supplements. So in that case, that's even though these supplements, let's say, don't have robust evidence behind them, but from clinical experience, they can be recommended sometimes, and that only occurs with the experience, which we don't have.
A lot of experience too, not just like a few years of experience. You know what I mean? You become very confident after a long time of using it.
But that's where there's this clear gap in research, especially when it comes to these supplements, and that's why reading about studies that are talking about some supplements and properly assessing the study, because sometimes some studies are biased. Some journals are predatory. They pay money to XYZ person to make a study that will show the supplement in a positive way. That will be like, oh yeah, this supplement, we took it for this control group, we applied it to this patient, blah, 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 and these are the positive results. But sometimes, like, if you're not properly reading the exact methodology of the study, sometimes these things can be a little controversial.
It's a shout out to our EBM professor.
Yes.
You remember which one, right?
I remember. I forgot his name though.
I remember it very well. I mentioned after the episode.
But yeah, that's why it's very important as a junior doctor to be able to read the literature and assess the literature for what it is, not just take the word of the literature for what it says, but actually look at the study design and the methodology of the study and how the people behind the study conducted the study, so that you can be sure and confident that you're reading the appropriate results and know for a fact that these results are what they say they are.
And another thing, I think it's also important to start to spread awareness about the quality or level of evidence. Like, there's a lot of people I've seen out there who tell me, oh, there's research about this. And then it's generally people not in medicine. And you go and you look at the actual article they're talking about, and it's a single randomized control trial, which is awesome, great. But I mean, you then have to compare that to the systematic review or the meta-analysis to then really decide. And if it's just, that's the only piece of evidence out there, you assess it for as it is, you know what I mean? Like, again, a lot of people that I've seen, they just kind of throw the term research or literature, and then they get excited. They're just like, I did my job. The research has shown, and you're like, which research?
Yeah, which research? Show me.
A letter that some medical student wrote.
I actually get this a lot. I've noticed lots of non-medics. They always talk to me. Lots of my family as well. They always mention that, oh yeah, I've heard this research or this doctor or this. It's always something on Instagram or something on social media saying this or that.
I'm convinced there's one person doing this, by the way. I'm convinced that it's just one person in their basement, just on WhatsApp, creating all those threads.
It could be, but like it's always like this, and you have to be aware because social media always want the clickbait.
Yeah,
they always want that, so they always take a specific portion of the like results of the research and then just make that the headline.
Yeah.
When in reality that's not actually the case. So you have to be very careful when reading stuff like this and making sure that that's not like biasing your view in any way. Because at the end of the day, we have to be objective, and our information that we're presenting to patients has to be standardized, and that's the most important part. So bottom line, be aware of which supplements you're recommending to
Yes.
patients. Some supplements are more well established than others, and if you're not sure, there's no shame in saying that you're not sure and that you would look into it, and then and ask seniors about it, and then do your own research about it, and then you can inform the patient with the proper information.
To be honest, I would just say, like, if you were to tend towards one side of this, should I not? If something is not in a guideline, it's probably safer to just not, you know what I mean? And in fact, a lot of consultants will ask you, hey, okay, you recommended this, or you want to do this treatment plan. On what basis? What guidelines? Canadian, American, this, that, which organization? And the same applies to the supplements. So if you're going to lean towards one side, lean towards the side that's FDA approved.
Saying this, I take a lot of supplements, you know this, and
Come on, you just became co-host. Come on, you can't do this.
none of them, and none of them, I have no idea what they are, but I take a lot of them, and I don't know if they make a difference or not, to be honest.
How's your
It's
kidneys?
just
How are your kidneys?
I actually have bladder stones now, so that might be. Maybe I should go to a doctor. You know.
You want to consult?
You recommend me a good doctor?
You're looking at him.
You're a psychiatrist.
Hold on, so one second. We need to talk about something more important.
Yeah. What?
We need to congratulate Mr. Dr. Bassam al-Mullah.
Why? Me?
He got accepted into the Kuwaiti
Yes.
Board of Orthopedics.
I did. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Couple.
You're
How's
now
it
I'm
feel?
blushing. It feels good.
Yeah?
It feels good. Alhamdulillah.
That's تستاهل أول شيء.
Thank you.
And I think it's going to be a great addition to have you share your insights about the board and what's going on in the board here on this podcast. So the timing.
Yeah, I
couldn't have
think
been
in the
better for
future
us.
I'll have first-hand experience.
Yeah.
And I can talk about the Kuwaiti board and the ins and outs of being in the Kuwaiti board.
Yeah.
So it's
Now-
a good thing.
On that note, we're going to finish off the episode. Like you guys might have noticed already, we've decided that each episode is going to end with a question from you guys. We're opening up these polls on Instagram for questions, so send your questions in and DM us. We have a few already that have been sent in, which are pretty cool. So thank you guys for sending those over. Today's.
What's today's question?
How to make the best of hospital practices as a student. Docs low-key avoid us. I like the ending there was funny.
Docs low-key avoid this.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there. As a medical student, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard.
It's difficult.
Especially if it's was this like as an elective or as a rotation?
I'm getting the vibe it's just all over medical school, like when you're in the hospital. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, as part of your rotation, it's a bit easier. But what I've noticed, because as part of your rotation, the consultants are expected to teach you something at least.
Something.
They're expected to give you face.
Yeah.
But what I've seen, like from my experience, is that when students come as an elective, if they're not like fully interactive with the team, if they don't try to like merge themselves into the team really quickly, they can easily get lost and like they can easily just not benefit anything at all from the experience. And it's usually a very short period of time, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month. And they're doing it for a reason, so they want to like see the department they're working in, if they're interested in it or not, the specialty, how it functions, things like that. So
Always agree with the consultant when they ask if you're interested in the specialty.
yeah,
It's okay.
if you say that, they'll be more interested in teaching you, and you'll have a better time.
You will.
You will.
For me, what I would say is the best tip going in, just have an agenda, you know? I think when you just go there and you're kind of like, I'm on the wards, teach me stuff. Everyone's going to kind of be like, all right, well, I have a job, so.
Don't expect to be spoon-fed, because most students, they are spoon-fed in university. So when they go to the clinical setting, they expect the same thing to happen, which I don't blame them, because we all thought that would be the case. But then you go into the clinical setting, you see that no one's giving you any attention.
No.
Everyone's busy doing their own work, and everyone's stressed or occupied, and you're just there doing nothing. So I think my best tip is that, just like you said, if if you have things that you want to get out of the placement,
Yes.
if you have a list of like, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I want to be able to achieve these 5 things out of this placement, or this week I want to be able to do this and that. If you have a plan and you talk to like the junior doctors about the plan, the junior doctors are more likely to help you because they are younger.
They're the worker bees.
And yes, and they relate to you. They
Yeah.
relate to you more.
Yeah.
They've been in your shoes more recently, so they would be more willing to help you.
Yeah.
So if you go to the junior doctors, tell them I want to be able to do this and that. More likely than not, they try to find a way to help you do it.
Trust me, it's way better when you are studying, for example, and you have something in mind. Like, for example, let's say you're doing gastro or whatever, and then you want to practice abdominal examinations for your OSCE, right? It's way better to go onto the ward, and instead of just walking around and hoping someone's going to tell you something, to just grab a junior doctor and say, hey, or a consultant, I don't know, you do you. Just say, hey, watch me do this and give me some feedback. I want to know if I'm doing this right. That is way better, making way better use of your time than just standing in ward rounds in the corner, just so totally zonked out, spaced out, thinking, how bad is my UWorld percentage, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Always the clinical practice is going to be better than you practicing at home or your friends. You'll remember it more. You'll remember it more when it comes to the time to do your exam. You'll be more natural by when doing it.
Now, me and Bassam have something really important to do, so we have to cut the episode short there, guys. We have to get back to this game. So that's the last sip of coffee for the day. So, special thank you to us for pushing through with the broken mics.
We made it through.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next week. Don't forget to mention your questions for next week so that we can talk about them.
Yeah. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get back to this. Okay, where did I mess up?
Listen, I'll tell you.
Okay. Hope you all enjoyed this episode of The Doctor's Brew. New episodes to listen to with a cup of coffee coming your way every Sunday on YouTube and Spotify. And be sure to follow us on Instagram for all the latest updates. See you next time.